FIRE is easier than you think. Just 7 simple steps, you can achieve financial independence and retire early. And I'm not talking about starting a tech firm and get acquired by Microsoft. What I'm going to show you is 7 steps that any normal people can follow to achieve FIRE. And quite frankly, this is probably the only realistic way that any normal people can follow. Let's get started. Step 1. Calculate the money you need for the rest of your life. Only when you know the destiny can you find out the best way to get there. You need to ask yourself what kind of lifestyle you want. What is a perfect day like to you? You may be surprised by how little the money you need to support your lifestyle. For example, in 2022, a study has shown that an average American family needs $72,697 to support their living annually. And my dear friend George is a typical American middle-class man in his 30s and expects to live until 80s. That means he needs $72,697 times 50 years. That is equal to about $3.6 million for the rest of his life. This is why most people think FIRE is unreachable, but this is completely wrong. It overlooks an important and powerful thing called compounding. Since year 2000, US stock has given an annual return of 7%. If we trace back to 1957, annual return rate is even higher, reaching 10.3%. For now, let's take the conservative figure 7%. So to have an annual income of $72,697 to cover your living expense, you only need to invest about $1 million. Step 2. Figure out which stage you are at now. This should be quick. Remember George? He needs about $1 million to live happily ever after. How much does he have? Let's introduce 2 concepts here. Asset is what puts money into your pocket, and debt is what takes the money out of your pocket. A normal person usually has 4 classes of assets: saving, investment, real estate, and valuables. Starting with summing up all the savings, George has $10K in his personal account and $16K in joint account. That's a total of $26K. He also has $67,000 in 401K, $31,000 in Roth personal retirement fund, and $23,000 in stock. Altogether, $121K. For real estate, he lives in a flat worth $250K. And lastly, he has several valuables, such as a car worth $10K, and his wife's jewelry worth $2K, and several other stuff of $3.5K, total of $15.5K. Here, you need to be careful. How much does an asset worth depends on the price you sell it today, not the price you paid to get it at the first place. Although George spent $500 on his sofa, now he can only get $60 back when he sells it. Well, nowadays, nobody likes those old-fashioned sofa. So altogether, George has $412.5K in assets. Now, let's look at his debt. A credit card of $11.8K with interest rate of 17.5%. A student loan of $40K with interest of 8%. Personal loan of $14K, interest rate of 5.5%, mortgage of $187K, interest rate 4.75%, and a car loan of $4K, interest rate of 4.25%, total of $256.8K. Here's the key. Remember, George needs about $1 million in investment so that he can live off investment gain. How much investment does he have now? $121K. So he's at 12% mark. Now, if he's willing to lend out one of his rooms for $1,000 per month, $12K a year, that means he doesn't need as much as $73K per year to cover his living expense. There is $12K already covered by simply lending out one of the rooms. Now he only needs $61K divided by 7%, which is about $871K in investment. That's almost $130K less than he originally planned it, just by simply lending out one room. How amazing is that? He can even sell some of the valuables and put into investment. That will help him reach the goal quicker. And I told you that FIRE is easier than you think. But wait, what about George's debt? Of course we want to pay off those debts, but the question is how. Most financial planners will suggest you to pay off the ones that with highest interest rate since they accumulate much faster. Well, they are not wrong. However, I strongly suggest to pay off those small ones first, especially when you're struggling to pay your bill. The reason is that some high interest debt may have large outstanding balance that seems unpayable. This will demotivate you to pay it off, whereas paying off some small ones will help you to build a confidence. Another piece of advice is to keep those loans that have an interest rate less than 7%. If you can earn 7% in investment, why would you take the money out from investment to repay the debt with a lower interest rate? If anything, you should borrow at a lower rate and invest more to earn the gap between 2 interest rates. Don't waste those money that could belong to you. Step 3. Completely change the perspective of money. Now that we know what we are aiming for and where we're at, the gap may seem unreachable. But if you change the way you look at money, I'm sure you will realize it is easier than you think. No matter how we want to accumulate this wealth, it always comes down to 3 factors: income, saving, and expense. It's not rocket science. Here's a table showing the relationship between saving rate and the amount of years it takes to reach FIRE for George. Say George earns 50K a year. If he saves 25% of that, it will take him almost 28 years to reach 1 million. But if he saves 50%, it will take him just under 20 years. That's almost 30% faster. Now assume George earns 75K a year, which happens to be US average family income, and he saves 50% of that. It only takes him less than 16 years to reach FIRE target. By then, he's only in his mid-30s, compared to retire at 65. Much better, right? That's why saving is important. But what's more important is to earn more. There are two ways of making money in general. First, trade your time for money. Have a full-time job, work 8 hours a day and earn a salary. Two, trade money for money, invest in stock or running a business and etc. It is very important for you to realize that we only have 24 hours a day. So trading time for money naturally has a cap on it. What makes it worse is that our time is limited, but money is unlimited. Government prints it every day, every hour, every second. So to trade something that is limited for something that is unlimited is practically a bad deal. Rich people have money, but wealthy people have time. To get out the rat race, it is crucial for you to have the corporate mindset. That is building a money machine that will make you money even when you are asleep. Frankly, with the help of internet, there are so many opportunities out there. It has never been easier to run a business than now. Lastly, I want you to change the way you see spending. When you spend money, you are not only spending dollars, you are also spending the time it takes you to earn this amount of money and the potential value in the future that this amount of money can grow into. In other words, every dollar you spend today is at the expense of delaying your financial independence. Now, what's more valuable? A couple of hours of reaching financial independence earlier, or that new jacket you won't wear more than 3 times. So next time before you spend, ask yourself how much money this will grow into in 10 years. How much hours do I have to work to earn this amount of money for this thing? If you still think it's worth it, go ahead. I'm not saying spending is evil. I'm saying unconscious spending is evil. Step 4. Stop budgeting, start saving. Frankly, nobody likes budgeting. We all know how bad it feels when we fail to compare with our budgeting. It's like having a diet. The guiltier you are, the harder to stick with the plan, and eventually you just give up. Also, budgeting naturally leads you to focus on small bits and pieces. Save $5 for lunch, $3 for coffee, and eventually it makes you to miss the big picture and waste large amount of time to think about how to save some small pennies. So the right way to go about this is to only focus on large spending. And if you cut them, it will significantly boost your saving rate. First one on the list, housing. On average, Americans spend a third of their money on housing. So if you can cut only half of it, your saving rate goes up by 16%. There are many ways, such as moving into a small apartment, an old house, and finding a flatmate. You can even take the whole house and rent out several rooms. Or maybe you can consider living with your parents. I know it sucks, but if it's for a greater cause, why not? You can even live freely at others' house. All you need to do is looking after their pets and the house itself. Check out Trusted House Sitter USA. Second one, transportation. On average, 19% of the expense is transportation. That includes commuting, business travel, and leisure, among which car expense is the heaviest. Owning a car means paying for petrol, loan, insurance, tax, maintenance, and the list goes on. So the best strategy is not to own a car. Nowadays, Uber and Lyft make calling a cab so much more affordable. And if your friends or neighbors are going the same way, just do a carpool. And public transportation is getting more convenient as well. Lastly, food. I rank it last because most of the time, it's not worth it. To many people, when they talk about cutting expense, the first one that jumps out is food. They always say you should cook your own meal, hunt for buy one, get one free, or only buy food when it's on discount, blah, blah, blah. But to do so, it requires a large piece of your time. And time, remember, is more valuable than anything else. This time could have been used to develop a side hustle to earn more money. So unless you really love cooking, I suggest you not to worry about food expense that much. Step 5. Make the most out of your full-time job. I know most of you are probably working full-time, and quitting that just to start a business doesn't seem to be an option, and it shouldn't be. Here's what you should do. Short-term goal. Maximize your benefit. If your company offers retirement scheme based on 401k, you should participate. If your company offers free meal, free gym membership, education, health insurance, and etc., use them. This can easily add up to 20% of your salary. Another thing is getting stock options. Having a stock options means you own a piece of the company. As the company grows, so as your option value. This is the perfect opportunity to break the linearity between time and money. If you think your company can grow big in the future, you should bet on it. Moreover, ask for remote working. In most cases, your boss doesn't care where you are as long as you finish the task. So you can save yourself the travel time, and if you finish your day job earlier, you can devote those extra time into a side hustle. Your second short-term goal is to maximize your salary. This is a no-brainer. But most people are too afraid of asking more. Here's a simple 3-step approach you can follow. First, know your market value. At least twice a year, do some research on LinkedIn, Glassdoor about the salary of your position. Build a good relationship with headhunters. They usually know more about the market than you, and when you decide to leave the company, they can bring new opportunities to you. Second, know your value to the company. Are you easily replaceable? The more skill and knowledge you have, the higher cost it incurs to the company to replace you. They have to devote time and resource to train the new employee, allow them to make mistakes, and bear the risk that they may never be as good as you are. 3, just go ahead and say it. You know you are getting overpaid compared to the market. You know you are valuable to the company. So what are you afraid about? Worst thing is your salary stay the same. Nothing to lose, right? Your long-term goal is to build skills and more connections. The more skill you have, the more demand you can fulfill. Naturally, you are more valuable. Just remember, a lot of the future jobs don't even exist yet. So sharpen your skill and get ready. Also, meet new people. This opens the door for more resource opportunities that you can't even think of. As your network grows, so as business opportunities. I know a person who makes at least $500,000 a year by simply introducing people to people. Step 6, develop a side hustle. This not only gives you plan B in case something goes wrong with your full-time job, but also drastically increase your saving rate. Since that you have established that your full-time job can support your living, any additional income from your side hustle should go into saving. Also, running a side hustle trains your business mindset. It forces you to take ownership and see the business as a whole, rather than working in a large firm where you only see a small part of the business. The question is, what is a good side hustle? Here are 6 points to look at. First, you work for yourself. You don't want to be an Uber driver because it's still trading time for money. It's not corporate mindset. So your side hustle needs to be actually running a business. Second, a good potential return. To evaluate if a side hustle can pay you well, you need to ask yourself some questions. Are there potential markets? What's your competitive pricing? Are your customers financially capable? Number 3, you are passionate about it. This is crucial. Imagine coming back from an exhausting day job and your side hustle still needs you to work on it. If you're not passionate about it, you will not be persistent. Number 4, you can learn new skill. In future, skill is money. Again, the more skill you have, the more valuable you are. Number 5, it has the potential to scale. Remember, we want to reach financial independence. So your side hustle cannot be just walking dogs for your neighbors. It has to have the potential to go big. 6, it can be turned into passive income. This means eventually you can hire someone to minimize the time it takes for you to run the business. Again, no longer trading time for money. With this list, you should be able to find a side hustle that suits you. The next important thing is to value your early users' feedback. Chances are, if you can make them happy, you can make most customers happy. Provide them with maximum value and let them spread the words. Once you can consistently profit, you can start to think about scale. Depending on your business model, you can hire people, spend more on ads, or etc. But the key is never overstretch yourself. The least thing you ever want is a side hustle running into financial trouble. Another reason why you should develop a side hustle is tax, because every dollar you spend for your business is tax deductible. The money you spend on building a website, lunch with the clients, spending on ads, there are so many benefits attached to this. It also allows you to build credit, give you legal protection, protect your personal assets from business assets, help you build brand image, and the list goes on. Step 7, invest early, invest heavy. Albert Einstein once said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Wealthy people all know that $1 invested today will worth more than $1 tomorrow. $1 not invested today will worth less than $1 tomorrow. So the earlier you start your investment journey, the quicker you will reach FIRE. This is the ultimate solution to accumulate wealth without sacrificing time. While a lot of people see investment as something so hard and complicated that only professionals can do it well, in fact, investment is probably the only thing that a normal person can do better than a professional. As long as you follow the step I'm going to show you, you are well on your way to earn that 7% compound return each year. There are 4 elements you want to pursue when investing. Minimize risk, minimize expense, minimize tax, and maximize return. There are so many things you can invest: stock, bond, real estate, crypto, painting, and pretty much anything. However, the number 1 rule is never invest in something that you don't know. Don't trust anyone, especially those who claim this investment will return big. They either don't understand it themselves or they are trying to scam you. I'm going to use stock, bond, and real estate, as these three investments has been around for hundreds of years, if not thousands. They are very reliable. However, market can be volatile in any given 5-year period. So if you foresee you need money to buy a house or something in 5 years, you just simply hold the cash. Me myself always keep 6 months emergency fund in cash. The rest of my money goes into investment, which I will not touch in 5 years. No matter what age you are when you start your investment journey, most amount of money should go into long term. So you buy and hold, you don't care about short-term dip, since in long run, it always goes back and beyond. As you approach retirement, your investment should gradually become more defensive. My suggestion is, if you're 10 years away from retirement, 100% of your money should go into stock. A defensive strategy can be 70% in stock and 30% in bond. Here's a table showing the return for different mix if you invested in 2007. As you can see, for 10 years, all-in stock yields a 4.54% higher annual return than all-in bond. That means for every $100, you will get $56 more. Next step is to reduce expense and risk. Any investment incurs expense, ranging from 0.04% to as high as 2.5%. Due to compounding effect, these expenses may seem small, but they actually impact a lot. Your annual return is 7%, and 2.5% is more than a third of it. The reason why some funds charge a higher fee is because they claim they offer a higher return than average, but the truth is they don't. In fact, 90% of the fund underperform the market in long run. So my advice is to choose index fund as they represent the market average return. They are less volatile and the expense is the lowest. An index fund is a group of stock that aim to mirror the performance of an existing stock market index, rather than investing in individual stock, which are volatile and risky. Index fund minimize the risk. Even better, you can diversify your investment by holding different index funds that mirror different markets, such as US, China, and the rest of the world. Then there comes tax. When you invest through your personal money, tax is the heaviest. Capital gain tax can be up to 10%. And if you buy and sell within 1 year, which I don't recommend, personal income tax applies, which can be as high as 50%. So a better way to invest is through tax benefit account. If you have 457B, use it. If you have 401k or 403B, use it. If you have Roth personal account, use it. If your employer have additional account, you use it. That's free money. And if you have health saving account, you use it. You have kids, invest in 529. It is tax-free investment for your kids' college fee. I know this is a lot, and I can't go into them in details. So if you are interested, please leave a comment down below, and I'll make another video just about this tax benefit account. Say you've used up all the quotas in these accounts, you still have some spare money to invest. Here's how you can earn more than 7% return each year. You can handpick stocks to invest or invest in real estate. I saved up 50K offering tuition when I was in college, and I invested them into Tesla back into 2017. I held it for 3 years and tenfolded my initial 50K into $500,000. Then I sold the stock and bought 800K property with a down payment of 300K. Now the property is valued at 1.3 million, making my investment portfolio more than $1 million. And officially, I reached FIRE. So if you want to know how to invest in stock and real estate, please subscribe and I'll see you in my next video. I'm F.I.R.E, my friend.